Welcome, I'm Julie, and in this video I'm going to talk about using sprays, spray paints on Shrinkets beads, and also go into a little bit of a lot of shimmer effects with the sprays and with other mediums. So we will be just talking about cleanup. We will be talking about using stencils. We won't go into a lot of how to design them using, say, colored pencils and pastels and markers and things like that, because I have videos that show you how to do that, and you can, as in this little piece here, design them with those things and then add some shimmer effects to it with the sprays and stencils. So I've started out with a variety of cutouts in my classic shapes that I like, which is, about a nice bead size to work with for me. My favorite is like a 2.25, 2.5, on down. That's to me the most useful size. So these are going to be the pieces I'm going to design with, and I'm going to talk about how I get that effect. The first thing I want to show you is on my ivory and white shrink plastic, which is custom made for me and in the Shrinkets brand, because it has a wee bit of translucency so that you can place a template under it and design. And I want to talk about how I make the opulent shrink plastic. And the opulent is what I call the shrink plastic that has the shimmer on it. There's the white, and you can see the shimmer effect on it. And to get this, I use two brands. I use the Krylon Glitter Shimmer. This isn't their blast. This is their shimmer. So it doesn't come out really intense, and it just missed it. And, sorry, I've got to fold this piece of paper over. It's getting in my way. And I missed this about 12 inches away. So I'm going to do one for you to see. I shake up my can really well. And I'm about 12 inches away, and I just gently miss it just once. And you can use any of the, let's let that dry. So you don't want to go over it heavily. And you don't, just once ought to do it. And that's how you make the opulence. I use for that the shimmer gold. It comes in opulent opal, which I absolutely love, and the gold, and it comes in the silver that I just showed you, the silver. And then another brand is called Glitter Dust, and all of this can be found online if you just Google it. So this is Glitter Dust, and I don't know who the manufacturer is on here, but it's made in France. It's just called Glitter Dust, okay? And this comes in gold and opal and silver too. And they're just mist. They're not heavy. So that's how I make the opulence. So that's a nice little technique, and all by itself, they're just wonderful to use. You want to just keep these designs simple. Like if you use a colored pencil on them, it can get caught up in the grit of the glitter and not look nearly as pleasant. So these are nice to use stencils on. And so let's give this a try with a stencil. We're going to come in here, and this class is going to require a lot of scrap paper. So I'm going to come in here with... Where did I leave it? Under here? Here. And I'm going to use this little template and find the center of my bead and just place this on here. And I'm going to keep my colors on this kind of in the sophisticated range. So I think what I will do is use, this is called Smoky Gray. And when you're using stamps on your shrink plastic, you want to use when you're using inks on your shrink plastic, you want to use a permanent ink, not a dye ink. You want that ink pad to say that it's permanent and waterproof. And you want to stick to your high-end brands like Sukaniko, Ranger, Hero Arts. Just better quality. And you can pick ink pads that are opaque, chalk, which is opaque but real matte, and then transparent. So you got a nice variety in there. So this is, I like my ink pads. It's really nice when they've kind of dried out a little bit, because then I don't get a lot of wet ink on here, because the only inks that are made for non-porous surfaces, which shrink plastic is, are the stays-on inks. And I am using inks that are made more for absorbent surfaces on the shrink plastic, and how I do that is to keep the application where the ink is rather dry, or if it's really juicy, then I burnish, blot, 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 and let it dry, and I'm unable to be successful. So we will shrink this down. Stop it. Stop it. We're not going to go there. Okay? Stop it. Sorry about that. The little dogs, one of them got on the favorite pillow of the other doggy. So this is going to be a really elegant little bead. And the beauty of the inks is that, and the sprays, is that you can do the other side if you want a shimmer effect on the other side too, and that's the glossy side. So I'm going to put a little gold shimmer on that. I'm shaking it up. And it's not optimal to usually spray when I have a little loose beads, because it'll fly around, but for the camera we'll just try to keep it in one spot. There, I was quite far away, so I shot it a couple of times watching it, and I'll let that dry. That is a bit, I did kind of overkill it a little bit, but I will have an elegance on both sides of my bead, because when that shrinks down, it'll get rather opaque. So that's talking about the opulence, creating an opulent bead. And you can do that on any of your, opaque shrink plastics. So, and that was also about the glitter shimmers. Now, another fun thing to do with the glitter shimmers, I've got two of these that I've pre-done, and these I did with a little bit of pastel and then put some colored pencil design. And to give them that shimmery effect that I talked about that I like so much, I'm going to use the opal on those. And I'm spraying, I could spray on either side, but since this was done on the sanded and the shiny, and it'll be a see-through bead, I'm going to go ahead, I designed on the sanded side. I'm going to go ahead and spray the sanded side. And I'm going to be up here 12 inches away. And I'm just going to double check. And that's about, maybe one more miss. That's about all I want. Because if I put too much on here, it goes very opaque. And I can't see my design. And if you think you may have got too much on it, you can blot. And pull some up. So less is more with those. Keep moving on. Now, you saw me do stencils on with the black. So that's a nice soft look. Now let's do and with the gray. Now let's go into stencils with, stamps on our gold. And then we're going to give it a shimmer. So we can do the stamp after or before. And we already have a glistening gold Shrinkets. But we're going to once again mist that with the gold. Mist. Let that dry. Okay. And then when it's dry, we're going to be coming in with a black stamp on that. So I'm going to let that dry. Now, this here is one that I had taken this sheet of gold. And you can tint the golds and your silvers and create even more shimmer on them. So this one here, can is missing, but this is Rust-Oleum's Metallics, and it's a brilliant metal finish, and this is their bronze color. Now, the reason I can't demo this is I'm going to give you some tips here. When you're dealing with any of these sprays, tip them upside down after you've sprayed them and spray them till the nozzle is clean. These sprays are expensive and they clog up easily, and I can't tell you how many I've lost. I've lost this one. I've soaked this repeatedly, took a pin to clean it out, and I can't get it to work. But prior to that, I had sprayed the gold with this bronze paint, just like I'm showing you, and I got this wonderful color here that shifts the colors that shifts the gold into a bronze look. And so now I'm going to take one of these. I'm going to talk about another spray. I'm going to add another heavier spray to it. And let's talk about heavier glitters. Glitter Blast, intense shimmer finishes versus just a shimmer finish. And then you can find glitters that, like Krylon, and will make ones that are called Glitter Blast. That's a lot of glitter coming out, and you need to go outside, and I would go at least 14 to 16 inches away, or you will just saturate your spray. And I can't show those here because I can't get that far away, but I can demo these. So this is a new product, and these are very temperamental. They're little nozzles. So even when in doubt, I'm going to offer you 2 tips. Spray it upside down, and then, ew, there's a bug in there. This is when I'm outside 90% when I do this, and this is a little Rubbermaid, and it's got lacquer thinner in it, or paint thinner, and I will pull the nozzle off or take a Q-tip, dip it in there, and just clean my nozzle after I've sprayed it to make sure that these stay good. This is also a way when I've used my sprays that I can wash a stencil off. Obviously, I would put a pair of gloves on and then wash it off. But my choice is usually to let the paint build up on them. This one I've used many, many times, and paint has built up on it and it hasn't hurt it. So that is how you clean them, with a little tray of paint thinner, your latex gloves, Q-tips. Those are really nice tips to keep things clean. So all of that is part of how you use these glitter shimmers. And if you don't take care of them, you won't have them. So I'm going to shake this up. And this one is Harvest Gold. And these are supposed to have color shift. But that's not going to really show so much on our Shrinkets. It shows, I imagine, if you're doing a big project like, you know, glimmering a desk or a chair or paper. So shake it up. Usually you should shake something up for 2 minutes. I shook this up earlier. I'm just double shaking. And then I'm going to hold this down so it doesn't shift. And I'm going to be as far away as I can. So I'm a good 14 inches away, about at my camera level. See, did you hear how massively blasted that was? And it has overspray. So this is absolutely going to be adorable. And I'm going to let that dry. And then I am going to put my gloves on and just give you, I talked about that, but I'm just going to give this demo in cleaning that off if you wanted to clean it off. So, and be doing this outside. Definitely do this outside. So I'm here. Look how quickly that came out. Clean. Paper towel. And to clean it, and there I am with a nice clean template. But I can't stress, do that outside. Because lacquer thinner is way different. And that was lacquer thinner. So you can do this with paint thinner. Lacquer thinner is way different than paint thinner. Really strong. But I used lacquer thinner. I was able to clear a couple of my nozzles out with lacquer thinner, but not all of them. So we've got our little cutie pie here that we just did, and we cleaned the nozzle. And we cleaned the template, and I am going to step outside and spray that upside down.